Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So this week's feature match was EX1 Imperialdramon versus EX1 Diaboromon. Today we're going to showcase our deck profile for Imperialdramon. We've got all this new support. Imperialdramon has already been just a really great deck that has stuck around in the meta for a long time, and it wasn't even bad. I mean, it was still a solid deck to play. It had fallen down in the tiers a little bit, but could still punch up into A tier every once in a while. But now that we've got Classic Collection and a whole new line of support, guess who's back solidly in A tier? Yeah, Imperialdramon, absolutely gonna be. It's gonna be showing some love in the EX1. Don't forget, our memory marker for this month is going to be the Egg of Miracles. This is our Golden Armor Digi Egg here. This is our first rough draft of the resin copy. Pretty awesome. It can glow if you actually have a good light source. It will light up as it is a resin cast. Very, very sweet memory marker for this month. It's for our Patreon reward members. Now you can also get this egg available very soon through the coffee page in the link in the description below. The benefit though of going through the Patreon link is if you get it when it's featured for the month, you can get it for a good bit cheaper. Also, if you'd like any of our other memory markers we've had on the channel, make sure you check that coffee link in the description below as well. And there you can see all those awesome memory markers that we've had in the past. Some of them have been updated with a few more additions to them, so make sure you go check that out if you haven't seen them in a while. Got some great stuff going on there. Alright, so let's just get into this. Let's just dive in. I am so excited for this. So, our egg lineup is pretty much the same as it's been since the beginning here. So we've got the one of Demi Vmon. This is the one that just, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, it gets 1000 DP. Not like overly crucial or anything like that. Now we do a good amount of unsuspending, during your turn through multiple different means. So keep that in mind. Also, our secondary egg is probably our most important one, which is why it's at a 4 of here. And this is the one, if you attack and you have jamming, you draw one. It just helps boost the consistency tremendously in this deck. Pretty much all this stuff that you're seeing right here is all stuff that we've had before. Nothing new just yet. Next, we've got the Vmon here. This is the one that if it gets unsuspended, you get to draw a card. So kind of like combining the two babies here into one. You get the unsuspended bonus as well as you get the draw one when you unsuspend. Next, we got Jamming Vmon, just because it's one of the most powerful rookies in the game. Having jamming on a rookie is just super good. There's plenty of decks out there that don't need to utilize their rookie slot, and when they do that, they just throw in 4 blue, the floor. Demi Vmon here with the jamming, and then throw in 4 Vmon with jamming just to fill the slot because they can. And it's because he's that good. He is like the go-to rookie in this game for those just random offshoots where you can do stuff like that. Because jamming is so good. If you swing into security, you hit something and you survive, awesome. If you hit an option that triggers and needs to blow something up, blowing up a rookie feels so bad. Like a Gaia Force wasted on a jamming Vmon is so hilarious as the Vmon player. As the security control player or whatever they are, does not feel very good. So that's pretty awesome there. Also, if it survives, the opponent has to waste an attack swinging over it when they could be, trying to go for game and hitting some security. So yeah, great card. Next, though, we do have the new edition of another Vmon. This is the Classic Collection Vmon here, and this is the one once per turn when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase. Gain 1 memory. So instead of the draw 1 Vmon, we have a gain 1 memory Vmon. This is pretty awesome for making some pretty sweet plays. Just like one of the ones that come off top of my head is just looking over here at this X Vmon. When you Digivolve on top of this Vmon and you unsuspend it, somehow it survived after it attacked, you can gain 1 memory back, kind of turning down this Evo cost a little bit. So yeah, there's just so many awesome plays you can do this with this. Even with the the classic Imperialdramon that unsuspends when you digivolve it. You digivolve on top of Imperialdramon, reduces the cost down to 3. You unsuspend if you have this Vmon underneath, you gain 1 memory back. So it kind of makes it like a 2 Evo cost Imperialdramon now instead of the normal 5 that it cost any other time. So yeah, this is a great include for this deck. Just so much time that we get to use this ability of unsuspending. Like, yeah, that's what we do a lot of that. We do a lot of that in this deck. So getting that 1 memory back is going to be super easy. Next is the spot in the deck that I would say I can't really decide on very well. A lot of it is personal preference, but I did want to just cover both. I do have my personal opinion of which one I like more, but the first one is the Siakomon that we've had. Your opponent can't reduce Digivolution cost. Okay, how that's relevant is something like against Musketeers. If you play this and you're going against Musketeers, that means that Starmon can't reduce her cost. Okay, that is huge. Turning a Starmon basically off is so powerful. Now she'll get to still use her options in things like that, but dang, that is so good, being able to stop Starmon from reducing her cost. As well as if there's any green decks in the meta, I don't expect there to be. I didn't have any in my my video of top decks or anything like that, of them being too high. You never know, though. Some people just really, when they want green to work, they make green work. And those people that put in those effort, having this against those decks could be very, very important. But I still think that this Madoki Betamon is the better choice, just for knowing what the most decks played in the meta is going to be, and that's just your opponent can't gain memory except for Tamer effects. So by the time Classic Collection comes out, we'll have that's things like starter decks and all that, and all those memory boost cards that are floating around, whether the ones from BT6 or the ones from the starter decks that are promos. Being able to turn off all those memory cards is huge. With decks like Bon's Gabumon still probably going to be pretty predominantly played in the meta, being able to turn off, they've got 3 different option cards that gain them memory. That's insane. That's a lot of option cards that gain memory. So being able to just turn off all that against Gabumons, very, very powerful. Even against other decks like Jesmon, which is winning some events already, being able to turn off things like CL from gaining the memory back. When they get their memory boost card, turning that off is going to be so important. It really emphasizes the importance of they need to have a memory fixer if they want memory. If they're not going to put a memory fixer out there, we're not going to let them gain memory any other way. So I just think this hits more decks in the meta than Siakomon does. But the ones it does hit, it hits incredibly hard. So green always gets hit by these kind of things, but also 3 Musketeers. So whichever one you prefer to play more, if you want to play them both, you could try to do that. You could cut one of the Vmon here down to 2 copies and then bump these guys up. Or play both. Sorry, not bump them up, but play both of them. All right, next up is our first level 4. This, I think, is personal preference. There's a lot of people that will probably go against this, but Vmon here, when digivolving, unsuspend one of your level 4 or lower Digimon. It's just, I love this card. It's come up so much. It wins games. I mean, it absolutely does. This is a very aggro deck. It's very much a win fast kind of deck. We're trying to win as quickly as possible. So getting multiple hits in one turn is so powerful. So you swing with your Vmon here with jamming, then evolve into the Vmon and swing again for game. How many times does that happen? I know I personally have, whenever I go to a tournament and I play jamming Vmon or jamming Imperialdramon decks, Vmon wins me at least by himself 25% of my games. So yeah, very, very good card. I still want to play him. We're running him at a 4 of. Next, I've got Lobomon here. This is the one that digivolves on top of your Tamers. Another good way just to go for a game that your opponent doesn't expect. They have to either be paranoid that you could have it in your hand and just at any moment go on top of your Tamer and win, and so they have to play around that it could happen. They're think, okay, I've got no security left, but you have no Digimon on field. I'm safe. I'm not going to play a blocker. I could play a blocker, but I'm not going to. And then they don't, and you win. Or say they overthink, and they're like, okay, you probably got Lobomon in hand. I want to play it safe. I'm going to hard play this blocker, right? and gives the opponent tons of memory to work with. And the opponent didn't even have Lobomon in hand, and then they can just go off with all this crazy amount of memory that they got. So either way, if you win a game, then they're going to be paranoid about it for the next time that they play. So absolutely love this card. Just out of 2 of, you just need to draw 1 copy of it, 1 copy at some point in the game, just to sit on until you're ready to use it to win. Next, we got the Classic Collection X Vmon. This one has jamming built in. King Evo on top of blue or green. So we have our standard 2 Evo cost level 4. Nothing too crazy there, but what really is important for this is that the Inheritable basically gives jamming to your Imperialdramon. The new Classic Collection doesn't have jamming built into it, so it relies on the X Vmon to give it jamming. So that's why we play this one at 4 of, just for the new Imperialdramon. Next, we got Stingmon, who is awesome. Like, this is absolutely what this deck wanted. In our level 4 spot here, we've got, so it normally has piercing, not a big deal. Piercing with no jamming and 5k, not too great. But giving piercing as an inheritable to Imperialdramon or any of the Digimon that have free in their tags here. So right there you have champion, free, and insectoid. So as long as it has free right there, it's going to have piercing. So that can apply to multiple things, such as going into our next Digimon, we have Imperialdramon here, jamming. So being able to swing with piercing over something and hit into security with jamming, just Stingmon just makes this deck. Honestly, you could argue cutting down either of the X Vmons, probably this one, and then bumping this Stingmon up, while I'm looking at it. This is just so good, so powerful of a card, absolutely. Makes this deck so much more consistent, so much less worried about blockers and that sort of thing when you can just use piercing. So yeah, Imperialdramon here is our first level 5. This is our classic one that we've, come to know and love. Works great with blue Imperialdramon from the same set. Gives the inheritable of when this Digimon has Imperialdramon in its name, unsuspend it when it attacks. So, you swing with your Imperialdramon and it suspends. You Digivolve into Imperialdramon. Imperialdramon's own effect unsuspend itself. So then you swing with the Imperialdramon. Then the Imperialdramon effect kicks in and unsuspends the Imperialdramon. And so then Imperialdramon swings a second time. In total, that's 3 security checks. 1 from the Imperialdramon and then 2 from the Imperialdramon. So that's 3 security checks there. If you go into something like a Blitz Omnimon, that's another security check. It's like you can really ramp up in this deck insanely fast. And we have so much jamming and things like that, piercing, all this really, really good stuff. Next, we have another Imperialdramon. No more Dino Beamon. We don't have to run Dino Beamon anymore because we have another Imperialdramon that is also very, very good. When Digivolving, if a Digimon with Digimon card with free in its trait is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, unsuspend this Digimon. So, multiple ways here. Pretty much everything we got here is free. As long as you're using, the Vmon line, you're going to have some free somewhere in it. Almost all of our rookies, except for, our memory blockers here, are going to have free. All of our level 4s are going to have free, except for the Lobomon, which your Lobomon shouldn't be in your Evo chain, unless you just bricked really horrendously. So, getting those swings in, swinging with the jamming Vmon, Digivolving into one of these level 4s here, and then past turn, you're going to Digivolve into the Imperialdramon to pass turn to your opponent, and then it's going to unsuspend itself. So you got that free sucker punch with the jamming Vmon, and then boom, you go up into your Imperialdramon to pass turn. So that's kind of, one of the strategies that come to mind immediately off of this. And then the inheritable here, while this Digimon has Imperialdramon in its name, it can't be blocked. So both of our Megas here are Imperialdramon. So it'll always get that effect. The only time it won't is if we go into an Omnimon. But that's okay, because more often than not, the idea is that Imperialdramon is going to close out the game. Making your Imperialdramon unblockable, jamming, all that sort of shenanigans is so good. We're just hitting so much, so fast that That's the best part about this deck, is that multiple tiers can all swing into security with no no repercussions. Essentially, you can go X Vmon, or Vmon for jamming, Digivolve into something with piercing, or the X Vmon to unsuspend, go into another Digimon like Imperialdramon here with jamming. It can swing in. Then you go into your classic Imperialdramon Dragon Mode, then he unsuspends and then swings 2 more times. That's a ton of checks. This deck is absurd at just the number of attacks. It's like normally like red decks, they have to go all the way up into their mega. Now they can attack. With this deck, no, we just swing almost every single step of the way. We just keep attacking. So yeah, jumping over here into this Imperialdramon. So he has jamming built in. If you're Digivolving on top of a Imperialdramon or a Dinobemon, which you will be because both of our level 5 slots are Imperialdramon, you can reduce the Evo cost by 2. Making him a 3 Evo cost pretty much all the time in this deck. If you have like I said in the beginning, if you have this Vmon here underneath and he unsuspends himself, you gain a memory back off that. So it kind of makes this turn into a 2-cost Evo, if you want to look at it like that, which is awesome. And then his when Digivolving effect is unsuspend all of your Digimon with jamming. Normally, how this deck operates is you just unsuspends himself. You Digivolve on top of your suspended Imperialdramon, whichever one it is, and then he unsuspends himself. And then you do your swings after that. So that's generally the idea for the deck. Next, we got the new Imperialdramon Dragon Mode, though, from Classic Collection. When Digivolving, if a Digimon card with free in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, which it will be because that's how the deck is built, unsuspend this Digimon and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So he unsuspends himself just like the regular one does, but then also can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, which is really, really important when you think about it in these kind of contexts. One, you suspend a blocker. So if you don't have this Imperialdramon that makes it unblockable, you can suspend the blocker. Also, if you know that you're going to go into an Omnimon, and even if you do have this Imperialdramon, you still can suspend the blocker to get past it, which is really, really important. But in addition to that, say you suspend something else that you need to run over. You can do that. You can just clear it off. And if you have the Stingmon that gives you piercing, even more value. So you don't even have to worry about losing out on a security check because you get to just use your piercing. Now, piercing and getting multiple swings is so powerful. So Stingmon underneath Imperialdramon. Imperialdramon swings at something, clears something that's suspended, gets the piercing, gets the jamming check, you're good. Go into Imperialdramon here. He unsuspends himself, suspends something else on your opponent's side of the field, swing again, clear that thing that you suspended, get your piercing security check with jamming because, you might not have jamming. If you go into Stingmon, you won't have jamming with this one. But you see the idea. But also, jamming is less essential for this one just because your turn for each color in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, it gets 1000 DP. So you're going to have blue and green. If you're going to that piercing route, you're going to have Stingmon for your green, and then whichever level 5 you go into will be your blue, of course. So you'll have a plus 2k buff on this guy, putting you at 13, which is more than enough. Literally, the only thing you have to worry about is like a couple like niche decks where you have to worry about hitting into like their 2-ofs, or maybe against Jesmon, they might have 2 Omnimons. Okay, that's 2 Omnimons in a 50-card deck that you have to worry about. You should not be stressing over hitting one of those in security because the odds are heavily in your favor not to hit them. Again, in a Bond's Gabumon deck, their goal is to Digivolve into those. They really don't want those in security, so, again, you shouldn't have to worry about them too much being there. Just the odds will be so heavily in your favor that you shouldn't have anything to worry about. So 13,000 DP should be more than enough to get you over every single meta deck that's going to be hitting. You're going to be hitting in security. So really, really great stuff here overall in this deck. Just every combination works out to be an awesome stack. It doesn't matter, you don't have to go for this very specific stack up into your mega. It's like, I can go whichever way, just, zigzagging all the way up into whatever combination I want into either of our megas, and we still get the same accomplishments done. So love this deck. So consistent in the fact that it doesn't need to be consistent, if that makes sense. And then the Omnimon, which, is kind of obvious. We've got Blitz on him, so when Digivolving, you can unsuspend, and then Blitz, you immediately attack again. A great closer for winning the game. Also, if your opponent is running something with high DP, you can Digivolve into this guy, Blitz, and then, protect him, keep him alive. All turns, if an opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return it to the hand or deck, you can prevent it by trashing a level 6 Digimon card in this Digivolution source. So, great for just sticking around. If you can't kill them and they can run over your Imperialdramon, Digivolve on top of your Imperialdramon. It's better to go into this and keep this guy on the field than know that you're going to lose your Imperialdramon. If you watched the feature match, you saw exactly what I mean, and you know where I'm coming from on this. And then the last little bit here is our options here. We got Blue Memory Boost. This is just a little consistency booster. If you're ever short on, it's like, I need that level 5 so I can get into whatever. I need my Mega. Whatever it is, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 blue Digimon card from among them to your hand, and the rest go to the bottom of the deck. And then he's got the delay effect, which most of us should know what it does by now, but delay, gain 2 memory. If you don't have a memory fixer on field and you need that, your opponent puts you to 1, they try to choke you, you can memory boost yourself up to 3. Now you can go into any of your Evos and you're good to go. So, Imperialdramon, no matter which level 5 you go on top of, he's going to be 3. This guy's 3. Both your level 5s are 3. So Blue Memory Boost is going to put you at 3, so you can go into whatever evolution you want and keep it on your turn. I say that except for Omnimon, of course. But either way, with Omnimon, you still get to attack, so it's all good. Just the 3 of here, the deck is kind of tight, honestly, fitting in multiple avenues, such as like Lobomon for wins, and then the Omnimon for wins as well, for those like sneaky wins. That's 4 cards in the deck right there. So blue, just 3 memory boosts here. Next, we got 3 Davis. You need a memory fixer in this deck. You need to be at 3 memory. If you can't use a blue memory boost to put you at 3, you need a Tamer on field to start your turn at 3 memory. That's so crucial. And Davis is just really good because he's a consistency booster. You play him, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You get to add a blue and or green. We don't have a whole lot of green targets in this deck, but hey, if a Stingmon comes up, awesome. You just get to bank an extra card. But it's just then grab whatever blue Digimon that you need in that situation. If you're short on whatever, just grab that card. So Davis is really, really great. Just a 3 of, though, because you don't want 4 of him, I don't think, just because, once he's on field, having multiples on field doesn't have as much value. Now, he is still a searcher, so you can still play 4 and, reveal 3 cards on your deck, and then if you're desperate to find whatever it is you're short on, you can still use him just to dig deeper if you have no other cards to play in that situation. And then for our last card in the deck, and this is kind of my just I don't know, I didn't want to run 4 Davises, but I still want to have 3 memory. And just looking at the format, Jessmon plays a lot of the Sistermons. Sistermons can't Evo at all. They're going to just sit there with no inheritables. Perfect for Sora and Joe. Looking at Gabu Bonds, if they're not going into Bonds, they're probably just hard playing other rookies or promoting, and they're just having a field full of rookies and they're doing like this rookie rush kind of shenanigans. It's great for Sora and Joe, for them just to get all this value off the 2 most played cards in the meta currently, or most played decks in the meta. And then even looking at stuff like Security Control, they hard play lots of Digimon there with no inheritables. Looking at Musketeers, they hard play those BL Starmons all the time. They hard play things like Impmon, things like that. So the 4 most played decks are all going to trigger Sora and Joe, so you'll have that memory, which is great. And even if they don't, you can always just attack and then clear 2 Digivolution sources with the secondary effect, which will set you up for the following turn. So just my little side include for the deck, and that is going to wrap it up. I am so in love with this deck and how it's performed for me so far. Yeah, it's doing really great things. It's just so consistent. And then for anyone that skipped to the end, I do want to clarify that right now this is 52 cards, and that is because of, I would say, pick whichever one of these two guys you want. Do you want to be more worried about reducing Digivolutions? If you have a lot of Beelstramons in your meta or at your locals, you might want to drop in this guy. If you've got a lot of Jessmons and Gabubons, especially Gabubons, run the memory blocker instead. So which of these two you prefer, do that. If you really want to run them both, look over here and try to figure out something to cut. You could cut down each of the two of these three Vmons down by one. Good luck picking. I'm not going to pick for you. That is absolutely personal preference. I think all three have incredible merit. That's why I say just pick which one of these two you like more, and that's the one to go with. And then everything else is just pretty on the nose of what the overall strategy is for the deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yamon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves, so the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much unfortunately they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways, so definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.